You think you're stuck, but you're not. You're not blocked by a wall. You're blocked by a belief, a quiet one. A whisper in your mind that says, you can't do it, you'll fail again. Who do you think you are? It doesn't scream. It pretends to be truth. So you obey it. You stop trying. You scroll. You wait. You overthink. You call it being smart or being realistic. But deep down, you know what it is. Fear, pretending to be logic. Mental blocks are not chains. They are loops of excuses, of hesitation, of mental noise. You're not trapped. You're just standing still inside an open room. The door isn't locked. You just forgot how to walk. You wait for motivation, but motivation isn't coming. Movement creates motivation, not the other way around. So here's the truth. What's holding you back is not the situation. It's not your age, your past, your ability. It's the story you keep repeating. And stories can be rewritten. You don't need permission. You don't need to feel ready. You need to move while scared. To start without clarity. That's how the wall falls, by acting like it isn't real. Because it isn't. It only lives in your head, and you can evict it. Mental blocks don't come with alarms. They arrive quietly, wrapped in familiar phrases. You're not ready. You don't belong here. Someone already did it better. They don't feel like attacks. They feel like truth. The trap, you think you're being rational. You call it self-awareness, but it's just fear, whispering through polished language, and you believe it. You cancel plans. You wait for signs. You let someone else speak first. Then you nod and sit back down. The wall isn't built overnight. It's built with tiny moments like this. Each hesitation adds a brick. Each silence pours more concrete. Before you know it, you're boxed in by words you never questioned. Doubt doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be constant. It doesn't push. It nudges. It waits. And the longer you wait, the more real the block feels. But it's not real. It's just a pattern. And patterns can be broken. Not by thinking harder. Not by overanalyzing, by acting faster than the voice. By interrupting the whisper with movement. When the doubt says pause, you press play. When it says prepare more, you move anyway. That's how you escape. Not by defeating fear, but by refusing to listen. You weren't born afraid. You learned it. Every no you heard. Every eye rolled when you had an idea. Every laugh when you tried. It built layers. Now you carry those layers like armor, thinking they protect you. But they don't. They trap you. They're not shields. They're weights. School said, wait your turn. Family said, don't risk it. Society said, blend in. So now when ambition rises, you shut it down. Not because it's wrong, but because it doesn't match the script. You've been programmed to fear the unknown more than failure. To value comfort over movement. To choose invisibility over rejection. But who told you that was living? Mental blocks are inherited fears. They pass from mouth to mind, generation to generation. But they're not yours. They were installed without your permission. You don't have to keep them. You don't have to protect them. You can uninstall the whole belief system. You can write a new script, one where you speak first, move fast, dream loud. You can be the one that breaks the pattern. You can be the glitch in the system. But first to say enough. You don't need approval, you need a reset. And it starts the moment you question the fear instead of obeying it. Comfort feels safe. But that's the trap. It tells you, stay where it's warm, don't risk, don't stretch, don't leap. And at first it feels good. No pressure, no danger, no growth. You think you're choosing peace. But you're choosing pause. You're not building, you're waiting. The cage isn't cold or dark. It's cozy, decorated, familiar. And that's what makes it deadly. You get used to small steps. You adjust to low standards. You celebrate surviving instead of thriving. You confuse stillness with control. Comfort numbs you. It hides how much time is slipping away. You say, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes a graveyard for potential. The mental block isn't in your mind, it's in your habits. Your comfort zone is a trap disguised as a reward. And every day you stay there, it grows tighter. Not because it changes, but because you shrink. Comfort kills urgency. And urgency is the fuel of change. So if you're serious about breaking the wall, you have to do something uncomfortable. On purpose, let it stretch you. Let it burn a little. That's the signal you're alive. You weren't made to coast, you were made to climb. And that starts by saying goodbye to safety and walking into the wild. Fear almost never looks like fear. It hides. It wears costumes. Sometimes it shows up as perfectionism. You say, I'm just not ready yet. You call it preparation. But really, you're just avoiding risk. Other times, it looks like procrastination. You say, I'll do it later. But later becomes never. And sometimes, fear becomes overthinking. You turn every step into a debate. You analyze the outcome before you act. You drown in what-ifs. It feels smart. It feels responsible. But it's all fear well-dressed, well-spoken, and very convincing. Mental blocks thrive when fear wears a mask. Because you don't fight what you can't name. You think you're being careful, but you're just standing still. Progress doesn't need perfection. It needs pressure. It needs movement. The enemy isn't laziness. It's fear. Pretending to be logic. It's the voice that tells you to wait until it's cleaner, better, safer. But better never comes. Clean never comes. Safe never comes. Only now is real. So ask yourself, is this a strategy or is it fear in a suit? Because the suit doesn't matter. The delay still costs the same. You don't need to win the argument. You just need to act anyway. Thinking won't break the block. Planning won't either. You need to move. Action is the antidote to mental blocks. It's messy. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. Every step you take proves the block is just an illusion. Confidence. It comes after, not before. You don't need to wait to feel ready. You create readiness by doing. Start small. Start shaky. Start unsure. The important part is starting. When you act, the block shrinks. When you hesitate, it grows. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a plan that works for now. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to begin. Each movement is a crack in the wall. Every attempt chips away at the doubt. This is how walls fall. Not with a blast, but with persistence. With daily steps. With messy, imperfect courage. The block is powerful because you feed it with inaction. Stop feeding it. Move. Even if you tremble. Even if your voice shakes. Even if you don't see the end. The wall will fall if you refuse to obey it. This is a truth that can set you free. Your mental block is not you. It's not your identity. It's a habit, a story you learned. For too long, you believed the lie. But now, you see it. You're not fear. You're not hesitation. You're not the voice that tells you to quit. You're a person who is taught to believe those things. You carry the weight, but you don't have to. You can choose to drop the burden. You can choose to step out of the shadow. Your block is just a mask. You've worn for so long, it feels like skin. But masks come off. Habits can be broken. You don't have to live inside the cage you built. You can tear down the walls. You can walk into the light. It starts with knowing the block is separate from you, then acting as if you're already free. Every choice to move is a step away from the cage. You're not defined by your fear. You're defined by the courage to act despite it. Mental blocks don't disappear overnight. They come back. They whisper again. But now, you know what they are. You recognize the pattern. And each time they return, you don't freeze. You act. Again and again. It's a process of repetition. A daily fight. The more you move, the weaker the block becomes. Your brain rewires with every action. Fear loses its power when you refuse to obey it. You can't erase the block, but you can make it irrelevant. You become the person who acts anyway. You learn that discomfort is growth. You accept uncertainty as part of the journey. The wall no longer controls you. You do. And that's how freedom grows. One repeated step at a time. It's not quick. It's not easy, but it's real. So when the block whispers, you don't listen. You move faster. There is no perfect path out of a mental block. No clean exit. Growth is messy. It's stumbling and falling. It's looking foolish and trying again. It's sweat and tears and chaos. You won't always get it right. You'll make mistakes. You'll face rejection. But that's the point. You learn through the mess. You grow through the discomfort. You build strength by facing failure. The block tries to keep you neat and quiet. But real change is loud and imperfect. You don't need to hide your struggles. You need to face them. Be messy. Be raw. Be real. Because freedom lives in the chaos of action. In the courage to keep moving, no matter how hard it gets. So stop waiting for clarity. Step forward, even if it's messy. That's how the wall breaks, one messy step at a time. Mental blocks survive because you follow their rules. You listen to their scripts. You wait for permission. You hesitate until it's perfect. But perfection is a trap. A story you've been told to keep you small. It's time to burn that script. Rewrite your rules. Speak before you're ready. Move before you're certain. Start before it's perfect. Live unscripted. Walk through the fire of uncertainty. You don't need confidence to start. Confidence comes after action. The wall will fall when you stop believing it's unbreakable. You are not stuck. You are a builder, a breaker, a mover. The only thing left is to take the first step, and then another. Then burn the wall behind you, and keep walking forward, free. If this message hits you, don't stop here. Share this video to help others break free from their mental blocks. And in the comments, write, "I'm breaking the wall." Let the world know you've decided to live bigger, stronger, and free. Don't forget to subscribe for more content that transforms your mind and life. Together, we'll tear down every barrier.